All right. So I also want to ask you, what do you wish people understood before judging others just because of the way they look? Because I feel like people could unfortunately judge others because of the way they look. Don't you agree?
I do. It happens all the time, and part of it is just because as humans, we need to like categorize and organize people and things in our surroundings so that we know how to move through the world. I mean, that's part of it, but I think a lot of this comes from people who really feel that if they are being negative towards somebody else, that makes them feel better and give them higher stature. It really doesn't. I don't know why they feel that way, but judging. I think about it like this. Sometimes we meet people, and our first impression is, oh, I don't like this person at all. That we're not clicking. We're not gonna be friends. And then you might meet them a second time and you're like, well, wait a minute, maybe I was wrong. Maybe there is something there because I've had friendships that when we first met, I didn't like them at all. And then as I got to know them, I saw a very different side of them, right? I've also met people who I really, really liked. And then after I got to know them, I thought, I don't think we're going to be very good friends. So that immediate judgment that we have isn't always correct. Sometimes we're wrong for sometimes are we shouldn't like them because they're not good people and sometimes we should like them and we just kind of caught them on a bad day. I think it's lazy to judge people based on just what you see. I think that doesn't get us anywhere. What we want to do is get to know people on the inside. We want to know, if they're good people, if they're kind people, if they are generous people, if they are good friends, if there's somebody who would help in an emergency or feel if I was feeling bad. So people who judge others solely based on their looks are missing out on 99.9% of the rest of that person. So I think it's lazy. I think it is too easy to do. And I think we should pause and just stop before we make a judgment. And we should ask ourselves, what more is there to this person that I need to know about? Just except for what they look like. And and I think if we pause a little bit, we might give ourselves some space to get to know people beyond what they look like.
You know what? Yeah, I definitely agree. It's good to give people a chance, even if they may look different, even if they may not like all the same things as you, even if they think of things differently. It's always good to give people a chance and to not judge a book by its cover because no one deserves to be judged by how they look or even what they think because everyone is unique and special and deserves to have a chance. And you never know if they might become your friends or not as well.
Right. And when we hang out with people who don't look like us or sound like us or have the same experiences, I find that really interesting because now we have something to talk about, right? If somebody's from another country, if somebody's from another state, if maybe they're from the country and I'm from the city, we can talk about those things, but I would not want to be surrounded by people who were just like me. I think that would be an incredibly boring conversation.
Yeah, because if everyone around you is literally the same, then where would the differences be? Like, what's the point in having a conversation then if you're just going to be talking about all the same things? Like, imagine how boring that would be.
I think it would be really boring. That's why I like to get to know people from all walks of life, from all over the world. From, we'd have never met Jacob if we hadn't all participated in the book, right? And we're all from very different places and are very different people. And so it's been the most fun just to get to know everybody.
Yeah, I got to admit, it was really fun getting to know all the other co-authors of this book as well because we all have our own story to tell and we all went through different struggles with our lives and we all need to share our stories together. So I definitely understand why it made sense to join this awesome book and all become co-authors together. That was really fun.
It was. We became a little community, and I don't know that we would have ever met otherwise, right? I mean, we don't necessarily, we don't live in the same state, we don't live in the same city, we don't do have the same jobs, we don't we would have probably never come across each other, and look how much fun we've been having getting to know each other and supporting each other just because we all came together. And I think it helps define what community is, right? It's not just the people who live on your street. It's people from it can be from people all over the world, all walks of life. And that's what makes this book so good, is because it's so there's so many diverse stories and experiences that so many people can relate to it.
Yeah, I agree. And this is why the book was published so that other people going through similar struggles could relate to all our stories, which are in this specific book. And when someone reads one of the chapters, they may be like, oh, yeah, I can definitely relate to that. She definitely sounds a lot like me. So, yeah. This is a great book, and I'm glad we all came together so we could share our own stories, even with people who can relate to us. And I think that's really special to me as well.
I agree. And even if they can't relate to my story, maybe they've never struggled with weight before, maybe they relate to your story and they go, wow, I can do a whole lot more. I had no idea I could do these things. Look at what Jacob's doing. He is rocking it out there. So maybe I can have some more dreams. And I think that's my message to people, which is don't put yourself in a box. Don't put yourself in a corner. Don't let anyone else do that either. You can do whatever you want to do. You got to dream bigger. We all need to dream bigger. That's part of the fun of even being here. And I think these stories help people realize that, yeah, we all have something, but so what? There's tons more things that we all need to be doing and experiencing. It doesn't matter what we have. Um, there's still a really great life out there to be had.
Yeah, I agree. So why waste your entire life just trapped in a room and how anybody see you if you're just trapped in your room away from others because there's so many great people to meet, great things to do, and just a great world to explore in general. So you shouldn't let anyone define you for exploring the world and exploring other people and exploring new things. And that's what really makes us great in this world. And that's something I can relate to myself.
I agree. I think whatever our diagnoses are, that's one very small part of who we are. And we need to focus on uncovering some of those other things, not just focusing on that one piece, that we are multidimensional, that we have tons of skills and interests and things that we should be exploring and experiencing. And if I just am always focused on my weight, and I've been guilty of it, it makes my world very small, and I don't want a small world. And in fact, the biggest thing I learned throughout my life is that it wasn't other people who were putting limitations on me. It was me. I'm the one who was doing that. I was the one saying I can't do that. So I want people to understand that no matter what your diagnosis is, no matter what you're dealing with, you got to really seriously look at yourself and make sure that you're not the one getting in your own way the most.
Yeah, I agree because there are going to be other people who are overweight or have like other kinds of disabilities, like maybe they can't walk, maybe they can't see, maybe they can't hear, but even that can't define them from exploring the world, meeting new people, and exploring all kinds of new things that they can practice and get better at to improve their skills because your disability should never define you, even when it comes to having a neurodiversity like me, especially being with autism or ADHD, OCD, Asperger's, even with diabetes, and none of that should stop you.
Nope. It's just something that, we have to, we got to be aware of, right? If we're diabetic and I'm diabetic, so I have to be careful. I got to make sure I'm not, eating too much sugar or whatever, but I don't have to run around, telling everybody how miserable I am because I have to do that. I just have to do that. And then I live life around all of that, right? So I don't eat a whole lot of dessert or I don't eat a whole lot of processed carbs. That doesn't stop me from doing anything else. So I think sometimes it's easy because we feel bad about it to, as my mom used to say, well, bad things happen and we all have stuff we're dealing with, but you don't have to build a mountain to it. You can just let's acknowledge it, but then let's go see what else we can do.
Because even if eating is your thing, and even if you should be careful about what you eat, that's why it's good to tell yourself how to take care of yourself and learn more about how to take care of yourself, even with an eating disorder or even some type of body disorder. It's good to tell yourself how to take care of yourself and learn how to take care of yourself so you know what to do to take care of yourself. And I think that's great.
Yep. We should be doing that anyway, right? We all should be eating healthy and doing a lot more movement. And I mean, it's not like everybody isn't trying to be healthy. Everybody is. So it's, but I think that sometimes we use it as a reason why we can't do other things. And that's when I think we have to be careful to make sure we're not using it as an excuse because we might be afraid to try something or do something different or go talk to somebody or go to school or take a class or whatever it is. We got to be careful about not using these things as reasons why to not do something. It's okay to be afraid. We're all afraid at some point, and we just have to learn how to move through that fear and keep going forward.
Yeah, that's right. Got to learn how to keep moving along and moving past tough times. And I think that this is a great message that you're trying to send to other people who are watching this right now. It's good to keep moving forward and shouldn't let tough times affect you or your life. You shouldn't let those times put you down in the dumps. You just got to move past them, learn from those experiences, and move on in general. So that's what I appreciate the most about this message.
I agree.
Yeah. But, anyways, I want to thank you for coming on today and sharing your story from this awesome chapter in We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnosis. It was great to getting to know about your life and how you stayed positive during tough times and some advice you'd give to people who are going through bullying, self-confidence, or feeling different, and what you would wish people would do before judging other people by how they look. And I think it was very important to have this nice conversation. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacob. It was an honor to come on your show and talk with you.
Anytime. Glad we could share our own life stories with each other so other people can relate to as well.
Aw, yeah, I agree. It was great.
Oh, you bet it was. Anytime.